Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking the latest clinical research and turning it into a really practical guide to demystify this massive viral trend you've probably seen everywhere, the dopamine detox. You know the videos. People claiming they're completely resetting their brains by locking their phones in a safe and basically abstaining from all joy. Well, we're going to look at the actual science behind this and show you how to use real clinical methodology to build healthy, balanced daily habits. But let me ask you something right out of the gate. Do you ever just feel overwhelmed by all the digital noise? Like, do you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through your feeds, maybe trying to tune out some uncomfortable feelings, only to end up feeling totally burned out and unmotivated afterward? If that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. Our modern world is literally designed to be overstimulating, and it's taking a huge toll on our focus and our overall happiness.
So here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The dopamine detox myth. 2. What dopamine actually does. 3. The real science, CBT. 4. Identify one specific habit. 5. Choose a healthy replacement. And 6. Sustaining your new balance.
All right, jumping right into section 1, the dopamine detox myth, separating internet fads from reality. Okay, let's get right into this by looking at what social media gets completely wrong about fasting from pleasure. Because the internet has basically taken a real clinical concept and mutated it into this bizarre exercise in total self-denial. The core question driving this whole fad is, can you actually detox from dopamine? And the hard scientific truth from medical experts is, absolutely not. A true dopamine detox, where you halt all dopamine activity in the brain, is biologically impossible. Your body is naturally producing it all the time.
You see, the internet version of this trend demands total abstention from all pleasure. It's basically a starvation of joy, which experts warn is not only highly ineffective, but it's really prone to backfiring. The real clinical version, originally conceptualized by Dr. Sepah, is actually a form of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's really about mindful habit reduction, stepping back from everyday impulsive stimuli so you can reset your brain's reward pathways. Which brings us to section 2. What dopamine actually does, the brain's essential messenger. To really grasp why a literal detox from this chemical is just a terrible idea, we have to understand the biology. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical messenger that your brain produces naturally. And it's an absolute survival mechanism. Clinical psychologists point out that without dopamine, we simply wouldn't bother to eat, we wouldn't sleep, and we wouldn't socialize. There'd be zero motivation to do any of the things that literally keep us alive. We need it in every system of our body. In fact, if your dopamine levels actually did drop, you'd experience some pretty severe health issues. We're talking crushing fatigue, anxiety, forgetfulness, and intense social withdrawal. Conditions like Parkinson's disease and depression are deeply linked to low dopamine. So yeah, you definitely can't, and absolutely shouldn't, try to eliminate it from your brain. Section 3. The real science, CBT. Reframing the detox as therapy. So the really crucial point here is that a true dopamine detox isn't about starving your brain of a vital chemical. It's honestly just a trendy, rebranded name for something much more established, Cognitive Behavioural Therapy, or CBT. Dr. Susan Albers from the Cleveland Clinic puts this perfectly. She says, a more appropriate or accurate term would be cognitive behavioral therapy because what you're doing is changing a habit or a behavior using mindfulness techniques. That brilliantly illustrates that meaningful behavior change doesn't mean you have to tear your life apart and go live off the grid. It just requires focused, intentional mindfulness so you stop turning to quick pleasures to distract yourself from difficult emotions. All right, section 4. Identify one specific habit. Step 1 of your mindful guide. Let's see how this actually builds into an actionable plan for your own life. We're going to create a framework for building healthy, balanced daily habits using mindfulness. And it all starts with identifying exactly what we want to change. This methodology comes straight from clinical sources for modifying problematic behaviors. Step 1 is to pick one specific activity that has a hold on you. Step 2, set an experiment window. Maybe you abstain for just 20 minutes a day, or hey, maybe a full weekend. Step 3 is super important. Find a healthy replacement activity. And finally, step 4, practice mindfulness. Keep a journal, notice what triggers you, and just observe how your urges ebb and flow over time. Take a second and think about your own life right now. Look at this list of what experts call fast food dopamine targets. Are you doomscrolling, emotional eating, maybe binge-watching TV just to avoid stress? I want you to mentally pick your one specific problematic habit from this list right now. Just pick one.
We know that all-or-nothing approaches usually fail, so we're going to focus our energy on just one thing.
Moving to Section 5. Choose a healthy replacement. Rewiring the reward system.
Okay, so once you have that one habit in mind, we need to rewire your reward system. Because if you just take a habit away, you're just going to feel deprived. We have to replace that instant fast food hit with something steady and sustainable. So instead of reaching for your phone to scroll, try substituting it with one of these mindful replacements. Going for a quiet walk in nature, practicing a short meditation, or just reading a chapter of a book. Interestingly, clinical research even points to taking a cold shower. The exposure to cold activates your nervous system and actually naturally increases dopamine and endorphins. And, even doing household chores mindfully can provide a really steady, healthy release of reward chemicals without those dangerous addictive spikes. I absolutely love this quote from Sandstone Care because it perfectly captures what we're going for here. Dopamine is less like an enemy and more like an enthusiastic houseguest that stays over for too long if you don't set the right boundaries. Remember, the goal of this explainer isn't to convince you to kill all pleasure in your life. It's entirely about setting healthy parameters around that pleasure so you can actually enjoy your life again.
And finally, Section 6, sustaining your new balance, managing withdrawal and long-term habits.
As we wrap up, it's really vital to set some realistic expectations for what's going to happen when you step out of your comfort zone to break these high-stimulation habits. At first, you're going to enter a withdrawal phase. You're going to feel bored, agitated, and you'll have intense cravings for that instant digital stimulation. You might even experience irritability and habit relapse. And guess what? That is completely normal. Your brain is basically just throwing a tantrum because it wants the easy reward. But if you practice mindfulness and push through that discomfort, you reach the balanced phase. This means improved focus, increased motivation for everyday tasks, way better self-control, and a deeply enhanced sense of well-being. You're literally resetting your brain for long-term happiness.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to take away from today's explainer. What is the one habit you are going to change today? You've got the playbook, you understand the actual science, and you know how to swap fast food dopamine for mindful, lasting rewards. Now, it's time to run the experiment.